We're back with the big story of a judge rebuking Attorney General Barr, who has long been accused of acting more like a personal lawyer to the president than the Attorney General. This has gone on even after the Mueller report, which is what's in the news tonight. Remember the alleged meddling in Roger Stone's case, which 4 prosecutors resigned over, and 2,000 former DOJ officials blatantly calling for Barr to step down over these issues. We bring in now Dan Abrams, who is chief legal analyst at ABC. He has a new book entitled John Adams Under Fire: The Founding Fathers Fight for Justice in the Boston Massacre Murder Trial, and former federal prosecutor Joyce Vance. Great to see both of you. Joyce, we walked through both the day one reaction to Barr's letter as well as this new ruling from a judge to remind everyone just how potentially significant that was. Your reaction?
I remember, Ari, sitting in the studio that weekend reading the Attorney General's 4-page characterization of the Mueller report. And even as we read just that raw summary, we began to realize that something wasn't quite right. And over time, we learned what it was. We learned that the Attorney General had woven a safety net of half-truths and outright lies in an effort to protect the president, because the Mueller report, when we finally saw the redacted version, didn't give the president exoneration. Instead, it concluded that there were multiple instances of obstruction of justice. And the Mueller report, I think specifically, and it's worth remembering, said that if more evidence had been available, if it had not been hidden from investigators, that they might have viewed the substantive allegations in a different light. So this is so egregious that now we have a federal judge saying that he cannot trust the Attorney General. The American people cannot trust the Attorney General to be truthful in this regard in a court case.
Really striking. I want to go to Dan Abrams with something that I know you know how to do, which is be a legal correspondent. Can you just walk us through the legal reasons that it is actually quite rare for any administration to end up in this position, because the type of material redacted often does get deference by judges?
Right. I mean, so we're talking about a Freedom of Information Act request here. They're basically saying, members of the media and others saying, we have a right to see the unredacted Mueller report as a matter of law. But what makes this so striking, as you're discussing, is that the judge isn't just saying, look, I want to review this and I want to decide. The judge is saying, I don't trust the Attorney General because of what we have seen so far. And as a result, I'm going to need to review even the things you have told me there are reasons you have redacted. But I don't trust you, so I'm going to have to review it myself. Now, to be clear, this is a judge appointed by President Bush, before that, to a position by President Reagan, and after that, the first President Bush. This is not a democratically appointed judge. I hate doing that stuff with the Republican versus the Democrat appointed judge, but it's an important point to say this is not someone who's in the tank for Democrats. And he's furious. He's furious. We see a lot of times prosecutors get rebuked by judges, right? They say, this should have been turned over to the defense, or you guys messed up here. But to say you simply cannot trust the Attorney General of the United States, and there's a line that you didn't have before, grave concerns about the objectivity of the process, basically saying...
I think we have that.
Yeah, oh, you did, all right. So that
we'll put it up right here.
Oh,
Go ahead and read again. You were saying grave concerns about the objectivity. The court concludes it must conduct this private review of the unredacted Mueller report. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's saying, the judge is saying, I'm concerned you politicize the process. There is nothing more insulting to the Attorney General of the United States, not to say you're wrong, not to say I'm not sure I can trust you, but you know what? I think you may have politicized the process. That's big.
Joyce?
I agree with Dan, and it's important to note that DOJ engages in a lot of litigation about turning over information that it claims is protected by FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act. And routinely what happens is the government provides the court with an affidavit. It's called a Vaughn list. It lists all of the information that's been redacted, and it explains what the legal basis is for those redactions. And typically there's a presumption that the government is entitled to do that, and judges don't look behind it. It's very unusual for a judge to say, government, show me the original material. And so what you and Dan have been talking about, this notion that the court concluded that the Attorney General lacks candor. That is just so startling. It does so much to denigrate not just Bill Barr, but the entire Justice Department. It's unfair to the line lawyers in the department who work every day on these cases. But it is where Bill Barr has brought us very deliberately with his efforts to protect the president.
And now, Ari, let's see.
Briefly, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, just real quick. Now let's see what's behind the blackened out words, right? Because there's going to be an answer to this question. We're going to know one way or another, I think. We're going to find out what was blacked out, what was redacted, and if it was done to protect the president, I mean, that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, and we're saying all this in the context of Bill Barr having pretty much a total condemnation of his conduct by ex-officials, as well as people resigning over what they see as his meddling. So how much more can he take? The facts matter. The courts matter. It's why it's great having two experts like yourselves. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.